One of the challenges with early employees is that as the team grows, your expectations sometimes grow faster than their professional growth or their acumen, so to speak. And sometimes in a lot of, with a lot of startups, I see that they get overlooked after company goes from 20 to 100 to 150 to 100, right? So how do you know, give them that value, because they gave you initial 3, 4, 5 years of career. Obviously the needs of the organizations also evolve, right? So how do you do justice to that?
See, what happens, what I believe is, if you're growing, right, then grow together. Then secondly, there will be a lot of new things will come up into startups.
Right.
And everybody will not know it, right? There will be a lot of challenges. There will be very new problems, and you'll be thrown out, to any
Right.
one of them.
Right.
So when the company grows or when the startup grows, you should also grow your skill set. And if you're an early employee at startup, right, the first thing which you get is ESOP. That makes you differentiated from other people. Second thing, when the organization is growing at a rapid pace, it is the job of a CEO, of a founder of a company, to ensure that his early teams, they grow with the company in terms of training. They should know new techniques, grow their skill sets. If they want to learn any new course, allow them to do that, so that you don't have to kind of hire people from outside and put on their heads. If you could build leaders in your company, the biggest job of any leader, right, is to create more leaders. And I would say that if your earliest members are looking are looking out for a change, when your company is growing, that's the biggest loss for any founder or any CEO.
So how do you avoid that situation? By investing in training?
Yes, definitely investing in trainings. If I have hired some guy as a analyst role, right? At an analyst role, I've hired somebody, and I know that in coming 1 year or 2 years, I would need a data scientist. Right? Why can't this guy become that? If I've hired him at an initial level, right, and if I help him in developing his skill sets, in helping in terms of opting for that course which he could learn, so he would be the biggest asset for my life. Right? He could even at times he could grow in such a level when the company is growing, he could become the a head of data scientist kind of stuff.
Right.
And I could rely more on him because he was the first guy from my from my early days. So it is a job of a founder, of a CEO, right, that if you want to grow, don't grow alone, grow together. Allow them a kind of environment where they can come up to you and say, hey Mukul, I want to learn this new skill, right? I want to develop kind of these skill sets to grow in my career. And we should be at a position saying yes, because they're thinking for long term. Then why should I think for short term?
And how did you scale this business further?
You're talking about YoloBus?
Yeah.
So basically YoloBus started with a bang, I'll tell you, because as I told you, every business has to think ahead of time. Right? And we were thinking ahead of time. We were launching technologies before these traditional people could even think of. We never had that kind of a competition into the market when we entered into this market. Yes, after 6 months people are copying our model, right? And people wanted to relate themselves to YoloBus. People were clicking selfies with washrooms in the buses, right? Everything was going viral that very moment of time, that yes, these are a couple of new things which are there into the market. So here we had a very, very good network. We developed a very good network of operators and the suppliers, because at early days we knew that if this business has to scale, without supply you can't scale. Right? तो मुझे अभी भी अपने सारे operators के नाम याद हैं. All what 250 buses which we signed in the whole tenure of YoloBus, I used to meet every operator going to his yard myself with my BD team. I used to meet him and I used to connect with them with their regional things as well. अब हरियाणा के एक operator हैं काफी famous, उनकी buses चलती है, right? He had a fleet of 100 buses.
Starts with an R?
Yes. And with the L. Right? So his reputation in the market was that a typical, आप जाएंगे वहाँ पे आपको यार्ड में खाट मिलेगी, हुक्का मिलेगा, and he's a पहलवान and he's not going to give you buses and all sort of thing. And I took it as a challenge. I said इसके सारा fleet हम लेंगे. Right? And I will show how it is done. So I used to go and meet those guys. उनके संग मतलब उनसे जुड़ने के लिए I used to drink a tea जिसमें आप अगर चम्मच डाले तो गड़ जाए इतना शुगर होता था राइट. सो ही यूज्ड टू हैव दोस गाय है वहीं से दूध निकल रहा है एंड आई शुड टॉक टू दोस गाइस एंड ही यूज्ड टू से यार अच्छा लगा चलो एक हुक्का पीपल में बस ये नहीं कर सकता मैं तो स्पीकिंग टू देम इन देयर ओन लैंग्वेज गिविंग देम कंफर्ट दैट यस यू आर इन सेफ हैंड्स और एसेट्स आर इन सेफ हैंड्स आवर हिस्ट्री शोज इट राइट. तो वो उनका प्रॉब्लम समझना कि क्या प्रॉब्लम आता है आपको बसेस के अंदर, व्हाट इज द एसओपी विच यू कांट फॉलो. तो वहां से जुड़ना स्टार्ट करा एंड आई फेल्ट दैट अ ह्यूमन टू ह्यूमन कनेक्ट प्लेज अ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल इन टर्म्स ऑफ डेवलपिंग रिलेशनशिप्स. एंड ये सबसे बड़ा हमारा प्लस पॉइंट था फॉर ग्रोइंग सो फास्ट. नेटवर्क ऑफ सप्लायर्स एंड विद वन गुड सप्लायर द वर्ड ऑफ माउथ यूज्ड टू स्प्रेड अहेड. फिर मुझे ढूंढना नहीं पड़ा, बैंगलोर चेन्नई से खुद फोन आते थे सप्लायर्स के कि आपके संग काम करना है. एंड आई यूज्ड टू रिमेंबर दैट टाइम जहां पे मैं 3 दिन धूप में खड़ा रहा था कि मुझे 2 बसेस दे दो राइट. तो जब इस बिजनेस में वी आर मूविंग टू दिस धंधा, पीपल सेड कि यार ये ट्रांसपोर्ट का धंधा है, पता कितना गंदा है ये राइट. यू आर लाइक फ्रेश चिकन्स ओवर हियर, हाउ विल यू डू दिस थिंग्स, तुम्हें पता है ये XYZ. वी टुक इट एज अ चैलेंज. आई सेड धंधा है ना, एंड इफ अ पर्सन हु इज डूइंग दिस ही अंडरस्टैंड नंबर्स राइट ट्रेडिशनल वे में, तो वील एक्सप्लेन देम नंबर्स बिकॉज आवर मॉडल मेड सेंस टू एवरीवन एंड इट विल मेक सेंस फॉर दीस गाइज एज वेल. तो वो कहते हैं ना जब जुड़ना शुरू हुआ तो कारमा बनता चला गया. तो वहां से थिंग्स स्टार्टेड मूविंग अहेड एंड वी वर सो लकी दैट मैं आपसे अगस्त की बात कर रहा था, मैंने स्टार्ट करा था तो दिसंबर मुझे सीड फंड हुआ था एंड बाय मार्च आई वाज सीरीज ए फंडेड. तो मैंने 0 to 100 करोड़ का वैल्यूएशन, 100 crores वैल्यूएशन, आई हैव सीन इट इन 6 months.
वाओ. एंड देन व्हाट वाज द एंड ऑफ दैट वेंचर?
सर मार्च में आप सोचिएगा 2019 और मार्च 2020 कोविड.
या
So when I had the best of VCs of the country chasing me right for investment, and when their money hit the bank, the transportation in the country was under lockdown. I've seen all the part of challenges which I could see, and I've enjoyed those quick fundings and quick valuations and everything. I've been through that whole cycle altogether.
How did you sustain through that phase after COVID?
Right. तो COVID में क्या था यार, उस टाइम हमारे पास 50 बसेस थी, 75 बसेस थी एंड वी वर फंडेड. सो वी आर रिक्रूटिंग टीम, वी रिक्रूटेड टीम फ्रॉम उबर सैन फ्रांसिस्को टू डेवलप आवर ओन GDS सिस्टम. अब वो सारे इंजीनियर्स आ चुके हैं यहाँ पे, सब एवरीबॉडी इज वर्किंग एंड सडनली लॉकडाउन. नाउ इट वाज वेरी न्यू थिंग टू मैनकाइंड. Even we started getting mails from investors that check your burn, increase your runway, and check your burn means everybody can understand this language कि यार तुम hiring जितने करी फायरिंग कर दो, जहाँ पे भी तुम्हारा burn हो रहा है उसको बंद करो and see what next you can do to increase the runway. You never know कब open हुआ ये lockdown, right? तो वहाँ पे हमने we are very fortunate that we went to the board and I explained the board saying that these guys which you recruited are rock stars, right? We'll utilize this time by making product, and I guarantee you that within this lockdown we will launch a new city. Now they were laughing. They said कि यार ये कैसे करेगा, lockdown तो पूरे इंडिया में है. And I had worked out on a plan because I always do things which are very different. मतलब catalyst मैं चुप नहीं बैठ सकता यार. I can't relax. That's what that's no to my dictionary. So मैंने study कर लिया था that Assam and Mizoram had 0 cases of COVID. Right, sitting in lockdown, we made the best product which a bus industry could have. Our own inside GDS systems, route, mapping systems as well. तो जो 6-8 महीने लॉकडाउन था, हमने प्रोडक्ट बनाया बहुत सुपर सेक्सी. और उसी टाइम विद इन लॉकडाउन, सिटिंग इन गुड़गांव, we launched 10 buses in Assam, all painted, everything done, recruitment, buses are running, right? And
what was the occupancy?
At that time, occupancy was around 55 to 60%. And buses break even at like 65 to 70, but operations are not stopped. The branding was done, and we got a great support from Assam tourism and transportation. जहाँ पे कोई choices ही नहीं थे running के, they saw the buses with washrooms, they saw the buses with Wi-Fi. The roads are superb there. The डिब्रूगढ़ आप देखें वहाँ पे बहुत अच्छी जगह है, right? And people used to travel, they used to commute. हमने थोड़ा मॉडल को ट्यूक करा. It was not all intercity, it was intracity as well. We started that model as well. We started experimenting over there as well, and we are getting a good response. The board was so overwhelmed. They said that the execution capabilities of our team is that at sitting at one place you can launch different cities, and during COVID as well. तो हमने वहाँ पे सारे precautions लिए, new innovations. Like when you open the door of the buses, auto sanitizing and those things would happen to you. You have to just rotate around, and those pedal for sanitizer and everything. That was new, that time. तो हमने सारा चीज करा.
Yeah, can't imagine like sanitizing hands every hour, and now it's like gone.
Crazy times.
Yeah. And then what next?
So pandemic opened up, and the belief system was that travel जितना पीछे जाएगा उतना ही तेजी से आगे आएगा. And as expected, travel was back, right? Still people were taking precautions. 2021 it was, right? From 75 buses, we moved to like 150 buses very quickly, right? We had agreements done during COVID. We utilized that time to gather more supply partners and build more networks. So we were on video calls talking to suppliers, seeing their buses through videos and everything. So पूरा हमें time था ना, बहुत अच्छी तरह utilize करा वो.
And how much runway you had when COVID hit?
We had a runway for like 2 years.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yes. और जब हमने रीस्टार्ट करा बिजनेस, सो जहाँ हमारे कुछ कॉम्पिटिटर्स कॉपीड थे, राइट, फ्रॉम YoloBus, डोंट वांट टू नेम देम हियर अगेन, राइट, तो वो लोग तब सप्लायर ढूंढ रहे थे. और हमारे संग सबसे अच्छी बात ये थी, वी आर थिंकिंग अहेड, राइट. वी हैड लाइक 100 बसेस का ऑलरेडी साइंड अप एग्रीमेंट्स. तो हमें वो लॉन्च करने में इट टुक ओनली 1 month, राइट. तो स्केल अप अगेन स्टार्टेड हैपनिंग, एंड वी हैड लॉट ऑफ डिमांड कमिंग फ्रॉम पंजाब, lot of demand coming from South Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad. तो वो cities हमने launch करी उसके साथ. We were doing very good business that very moment of time, and we wanted to raise another round as well. तो वो talk start हो गई थी हमारी तब.
And then after that you exited that venture.
Yes. तो we were talking for another round of raise, and I had a term sheet for $20 billion. Term sheet ka discussion, everything happened. Very well known VC from US, right, came and did DD, and everything was we was like on 7th skies कि यार it is moving very nice, and अब $20 million का अगर आपको commitment आ जाता है कहीं से तो you're on 7th skies.
And what
right?
valuation was that?
मैं वो नंबर डिस्क्लोज नहीं कर सकता क्योंकि इट डिडंट मटेरियलाइज. तो ठीक है यार, वैल्यूएशन वाज लाइक वी गेटिंग 7x ऑफ वैल्यूएशंस, ठीक है. तो अच्छा वैल्यूएशन था, एवरीथिंग वाज गुड, एवरीबॉडी वाज हैप्पी टाइम्स. और बिजनेस वाज लाइक कैश फ्लो पॉजिटिव होने वाले थे हम लोग. सडनली सेकंड वेव, अब वो सेकंड वेव आ जाता है जब 2021 में. अब अगेन पीपल वर लाइक रिकवरिंग फ्रॉम 2020, एंड अचानक से 2021 का वेव आता है. तो अगेन अ सेटबैक फॉर ट्रैवल इंडस्ट्री, बिग टाइम. ट्रैवल एंड टूरिज्म अगेन अ सेटबैक हैपेंड ओवर देयर. और वहां पे यार हमारा टर्म शीट पुल ऑफ हो जाता है, राइट. माय फाउंडर एग्जिटेड, आई वाज लेफ्ट अलोन, एंड व्हाट टू डू नेक्स्ट. It was a test, that very moment of time, that that test wanted to test my perseverance, my passion and my grit, कि यार क्या हम what next to do. and investors का ट्रस्ट भी ब्रेक हो जाता है कि यार पता नहीं ये बिजनेस बनेगा भी नहीं बनेगा, वापस आएगा भी नहीं आएगा, क्या होगा. बट स्टिल इन माई हार्ट इट वॉज कि यार ये बनेगा, अगर आगे जाएंगे इस बिजनेस के संग, ये पहली कंपनी होगी जो IPO होगी इसके अंदर, एंड इट हैड द पोटेंशियल टू डू दैट. बट दैट वेरी मोमेंट ऑफ टाइम बिजनेस वाज डूइंग वेरी वेल. हमारे नंबर्स जो थे पास्ट के कैश फ्लो पॉजिटिव की तरफ जा चुके थे. पीपल वर टॉकिंग अबाउट अस इन द इंडस्ट्री, एंड फ्रॉम देयर आई गॉट द कंपनी एक्वायर्ड टू ईज माई ट्रिप.
Okay, so they approached you.
So it was a mutual collaboration. I thought कि यार इसको let me see कि इस कहानी का हसीन मोड़ क्या आ सकता है. तो I had 3 offers to me, but I chose EMT for that because of the kind of sync which I had with the founders there, Pitti brothers, superb guys, right. The energy was same which I had. These guys were also thinking about the same thing. The vision was clear, and the passion was clear. So I thought कि यार they and us, if we could join hands together, I think it will be a great deal for both of us.
And then you got liquidity after that.
Yes. So yeah, I also got some liquidity out of it. और ठीक है, सबका ठीक ठाक बना. I would not say a very 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 big exit, but yes, an exit which had which made all the investors had a smile on their faces. And that's what we have to do. My brand got placed into safe hands, team got placed into safe hands with a good hike. So what else I could ask for?
And then you went back to Europe.
I wish I could. Yeah. So as we know, travel was banned that time. Yeah. So I took some break after that. I was, I want to reorganize, re-energize myself. और वहाँ से फिर I went back to my hometown, and from there I told you about the incidents about my mother.
Yeah.
So वहाँ से वो incidents हुआ, and from there the life chart concept came into my mind.
So now talk about gut health, because life chart is about gut health. First, how do you define gut health?
Okay. Very, very good question, first of all. So, the definition of a healthy gut is very simple, right? Gut works on two systems. One is input and one is output, right? And gut is a composition of healthy microbiomes, right? And when I say healthy microbiomes, you are carrying not million, trillions of microbiomes inside your gut. It is gut is a combination of microbiomes, and there are 1,000 species of microbiomes in your gut, in form of fungi, viruses, bacteria, right? And a healthy gut is a gut which has signs of regular bowel movements. Your stool, if you're passing out your stool, it should not be that hard or that liquids, right? Your energy levels are high, right? You don't have mood swings, right? Your immunity levels are high, right? You don't have those cravings throughout the day which is happening, and I would say you're not falling in the traps of chronic diseases, because everything starts from your gut and ends at your gut, right?
What is the relationship between mood swings and gut health?
Wow. So I'll ask you a question over here. तो जब आपका मूड अच्छा होता है कुलमानी, तो आप क्या खाना पसंद करते हैं?
Home cooked food.
Home cooked food. और जब मूड खराब होता है तो आप बाहर खाते हैं?
Rarely. Rarely.
Right. So the generic opinion of this question is, when you ask people कि यार मूड अच्छा है तो चलो डेजर्ट खाते हैं.
Stress eating, you're talking about stress eating.
आप देखिए, आप घर पे कोई पार्टी करते हैं या कुछ भी चीज करते हैं, राइट? यू आर हैप्पी, तो मुंह मीठा करिए, राइट? ये कंसेप्ट आता है ना, मुंह मीठा करिए, राइट? एंड इफ समबडी हैड अ ब्रेकअप, तो यू सी पीपल ईटिंग मोर, राइट? ईटिंग मोर अनहेल्दी, मोर शुगर थिंग्स, आइसक्रीम्स खा रहे हैं, चॉकलेट्स खा रहे हैं, राइट? सो the kind of mood swings and everything are related to gut in a way that whenever you feel like I want to enjoy, there's a different cuisine which comes up into your mind. When you think I'm sad, then you have a different menu served onto your platter कि यार नहीं यार मुझे यही खाना है, मेरे को यही करना है types. So I think mood swings plays a very important role. They give a signal to your brain, and the brain gives instructions to your taste buds that I want this XYZ things, and the poor gut is being treated as a trash. आप कुछ भी डालते हो उसके अंदर.
So I think when you are happy, the happy hormones are there, and you want to reach higher highs, basically.
Yes.
So you will go for rich food, oily food, and I think that's coming from older part of your brain.
Yes.
Because we were not eating for many days, and then we were hunting and eating, and then you got instant gratification. I think that part has not developed as fast.
Yes.
Right? Because we are not that evolved yet.
Absolutely yes. Right? Absolutely yes.
And similarly, when you are at your low, then you are in that spiral.
Right.
So now, why is this an issue? Why is gut health an issue now in current times?
Great. So I'll share some numbers here. You read a recent report, right, which has been published by ITC, and they did a research, and with that research the numbers are very horrifying. 7th out of every 10th Indian is suffering from gut issues, and these issues are constipation, acidity, gas, fatty liver, and this is a very alarming number. Kids are joining this whole issues, and you would not believe that 38 to 40% people in India, यानी हम बात करो 142 करोड़ में से 50-60 करोड़ लोगों की, right, are suffering from grade 1 fatty liver. उनको पता ही नहीं है, and they have the symptoms जो हमें बहुत normal लगते हैं: burps, acidity, gas, constipation. We're taking it very lightly, right? And you see these days the eating habits which we have, this problem is going to increase only. We are dependent more on quick fixes. We're dependent upon more band-aids rather than finding better and long-term solutions. We prefer everything at just an instant gratification. right? Kids are eating very unhealthy and we are promoting it. You know, the Gen Z's mother and the millennials, you see pizzas, burgers, all sort of, you know, the I would say the maida stuff, right? You know, all it's become a part of our usual lives. And with this kind of thing which we are eating shit, right? Treating the gut and taking it, you know, in a sense that idhar to kuch hone hi nahi wala hai, right? We are landing up in such troubles. Now back, I'll not take you a couple of very, very recent years back. Just think about 50 years back down the line. Think about life of your grandfather and his father, right? Think that, you know, did you had such diseases that moment of time? Answer is no. आपने सुना ही नहीं होगा ऐसी डिजीजेस जो अभी डेवलप हो रही हैं गट के अंदर, IBS and all sort of fatty livers, right? Why? Because of the lifestyle those people used to have.
So I was speaking to my father, and he was born before 1947, right? Because he's old. So at that time, even in rural areas, wheat was not a thing. गेहूं कोई चीज नहीं थी उस समय, मोटा अनाज खाते थे लोग.
Whole
especially in North India. I don't know about South, right? So, and then you know, they will have one roti, and that will be thick, and it will be full, good enough, and then they will have some, like, you know, like curd or something along with it, right? And that's what he told me, right? And then he saw the progression with wheat, rice, new crops. Obviously it was required, right? Revolution, we saw crop revolution because we need to feed people, right? Even till 70s we didn't have enough wheat in the country to feed. So that whole pattern changed, right? And now we see, at least in urban areas, more about packaged food.
Yes.
Packaged food, as per my estimate, is like 4 or 5% of India's GDP at this
Correct.
point. If not more, probably that's the ballpark rate. That will include everything which you see in a packet, right? And I see now, let's say if, let's hope for A and B. So category A will be doing everything by the book, which, you know, eating, I don't know, whole grain, vegan, home cooked, or that kind of food. And grade B is, let's say, some meals which you are eating outside, like you and me are professionals, we travel,
right,
and we end up eating 1 or 2 meals at the airport or somewhere else. You
Correct.
can't carry your meal if you are flying to Bombay in the morning. And then third is basically people who are eating majority of their meals outside or ordering in, right? I think you can aim for type A, but for like young working people, I think type B is more realistic, where 70-80% you're eating you know, kind of a safe food.
Absolutely.
So now, how should people think about their gut, or why should they think about it? Even if your gut is healthy, what should you do?
Right. So, you know, just think about, you know, people, those who are like 30s, mid 30s and reaching towards their 40s.
Right.
Think about what will be your physical health in next 20 years, or say about next 10 years, right? Do you want your, see, everybody is aging, right?
Right.
Do you want your old age to be in a situation that you are sitting at a wheelchair, right? And, you know, somebody else is changing your diapers? Or you need an old age where you're active, you're playing with your kids, you are, you know, physically so active that you're enjoying every moment of your life, right? So answer, everybody will say, yes, we want, you know, active old age. But what are you doing today to have that? Are you concentrating on your gut, or are you still treating your gut as a trash bag, right? Because if you are not concentrating on your gut at this early stage and you're getting signs, your gut gives you signs. If you're constipated, it's a sign of IBS, but, you know, type 2. If you are, you know, kind of having a lot of burps, gas and acidity, it's a sign that your liver has developed fat layer, right? And if this continues, right, in future, you're going to fall ill for chronic diseases like diabetes, like, you know, liver cirrhosis, like, you know, couple of more diseases like obesity. Obesity itself is a very big disease, right? So it is up to you that your future life, you know, depends upon your current life, whether you want an active lifestyle or whether you want a lifestyle where you are sitting on a wheelchair and seeing everything move by like a movie.
Yeah.
Right? So everybody should concentrate on their gut. They should not treat it like a trash bag, because everything starts from your gut. Your 99% chronic issues, start from your gut itself.
What is worrying to me is not, let's say, millennials or Gen Z. What is worrying to me more about is school kids. I was listening to Dr. Sareen. He came on a show with Smita Prakash. They did a podcast on ANI. He's an expert on fatty liver, and he gave a number on that podcast that, let's say more than 2/3 of kids going to 11th and 12th grade have, higher hip to waist ratio than what is recommended, which is they are obese,
Yes.
right? Indirectly, right? And that was alarming to me, because they are kind of the next generation, right? When we say that 70% of India's population is between 18 and 40, right? A large part comes from, roughly 500 million comes from Gen Alpha,
Correct.
right? Which is not even in college right now. It's like people in schools, born after 2012, basically. And I think that is more driven by the choices parents are making for them, right?
Absolutely correct.
So how do you break that cycle?
So, understand, you having a pizza, you can't say no to your kid who is asking for it. Right? You seeing your cell phones and, surfing for Netflix, you can't say no to your kid to watch a YouTube channel. So, the changes will start from within, right? And what I believe is that, a lot of education and a lot of self-enlightenment would be needed in this society for, parents to know that how unhealthy eating habits of their could affect the eating habits of their kids, and in coming future, what could be the chronic disease which these kids could carry in their lifestyles. You see young kids having diabetes, young kids coming up with chronic issues like fatty liver. I have a lot of kids coming to our platform wherein, their patients are complaining that they are constipated from 1 week. Never used to happen like this before, right? And these are all signs. When we diagnose, we get to know that these kids either are eating those processed, food, they are eating those, oily fries and all sort of pizzas and all sort of cheese and everything. And then parents have to, kind of go after them to, make them eat vegetables. People are not cooking at their homes. All thanks to those food delivery apps. No comments to anyone. But, they are not cooking at their houses. Earlier in our times, we used to, cook at house.
Yeah.
Our mother used to cook healthy vegetables, and there was no choice given to us. Whatever is cooked is a meal for us. Now we give choices to our kids, or they could themselves order from Zomato and Swiggy's.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So you don't have the control. So the technology is also playing a role in this. And being parents, we have to be very, very, cautious.
Yeah.
Because we have to tell them and we have to show them the future, which is very dark for gut if you are not controlling it right now. And over here, I think, in terms of educating the society and in terms of showing them a real picture, artificial intelligence in gut could play a very important role.